Hello, we continue our journey through the quarter of duality, and today we are going to dive to the deep within the deep of the human experiential way. So let's see what, what this neutrino week is holding for us. We are going to talk about two gates from the human experiential way, two gates that have desire and abstract in them, and feeling and sensing and cyclic energy, and of course sharing, part of the collective sensing circuitry. And this is going to be really interesting journey, and very sensual and full of feelings. So the sun just entered a few hours ago into the gate of saying yes. The abysmal, the jumping into an experience that we have no idea whatsoever what it's going to be about. So let's see how our dear giraffe is going to deal with all this. So the gate of saying yes, the abysmal, the 29th gate in the sacral, the deep within the deep. Persistence, despite difficulties, has its inevitable rewards. This is part of the channel of discovery, a design of succeeding where others fail, or failing where others succeed. Now, this is a very, very interesting gate, and I have quite a relationship with it because my design sign is the 46th gate, and of course, in a totally open sacral, this 29th gate is a very huge conditioning that I had. I used to say yes for almost everything. Of course, it's completely changed. But let's look at this gate. I mean, this is a sacral gate. And that means that it is a saying yes in response. And it is very interesting because this gate is unique as part of this collective sensing circuit and related to the human experiential way, which is all about dealing with emotional experiences of life and feeling and desire. And it's actually saying yes to jump into such an experience. But because it is part of the collective sensing and has relations to the emotional side, it has duality in it. Because if this gate really it's in a sacral generator design, then okay, if the sacral says yes, then it is jumping. It is correct to jump into the experience. But if this generator is emotional, of course, we have here the duality of the wanting to jump into the experience in response, but this is not the authority. So many mistakes are happening while this emotional generator wouldn't wait. And of course, in people with an open sacral that has this gate, again, this is a trick there because they are not responding to life, and still they have this gate, and this gate will be activated in their chart only if they are conditioned by transits or by other auras. So it's very interesting to watch this quality of saying yes. It's not always jumping immediately, even though it is an existential gate. The only existential gate in the whole collective sensing circuit, but we need to be very careful about this and really follow our design in order to get into the correct experience. Now, it's very important to look at the channel of discovery. What does it mean, a design of succeeding where others fail, or failing where others succeed? These experiences that we jump into or say yes to according to our design, if we do it according to our design, we get into an experience. Now, this is the quarter of duality. We're talking about relationships. And it's interesting to see that also the other gate, the harmonic gate, the gate of the love of the body, the 46th gate, love of the body, determination of the self. So these two gates form this channel of discovery. And the word discovery shows us what we talk about. We enter an experience that we discover through it things, but only after this is over. You remember this cyclic energy of the collective sensing circuit, and only after the experience is finished, then we can reflect. Afterwards, we have the channel of the witness. Yes, we can reflect on the experience, on the relationship, and understand what we learned there. Now, the success or the failure is not about the outcome of the relationship or the experience, but if we could dive, we're talking about the deep within the deep, if we can dive into the abyss and go through the experience without trying to understand it while we are there, without trying to bring our mind into it and just experience it, this is success. I mean, when we finish this cycle and we reflect, it doesn't matter what we've learned there, but the learning itself, the diving and being in the experience and going through it without quitting. Yes, we're talking about persistence, yes, despite difficulties. I mean, if the saying yes was correct, then we will stay, we will be persistent. And also we are talking about the gate of the love of the body as a harmonic gate, which is the determination of the self pushing upwards, the gate of serendipity. So this whole picture of these two gates show us what success or failure in this channel means. So when we say yes from this gate to a new experience, we have no idea where we're going to. And it's interesting because, of course, because this is a harmonic gate of my design sun, I have a lot of relationships that I connect through this channel, through this gate, and form this channel of discovery. And it is really interesting because sometimes before human design, I was trying to understand, why am I in this connection? Why am I in this relationship? Why do I have to go through this lousy experience or whatever? And afterwards, I just discovered it, and it was amazing to see. And of course, since the human design experiment, I'm not saying yes to everything that comes. I'm waiting my wave, and I'm not saying yes at all so easily, because this is not my design at all. But it's so beautiful to see how I connect with people that say yes to me in the correct circumstances, and they empower my direction, they empower my self-love. So this is really, really beautiful to watch. And this whole, and it's interesting to see that these two gates, we will talk soon about the 30th gate, but these two gates are from this experiential way. So it's so deep, and it's true that the 30th gate, the 30th gate, the clinging fire, yes, is also from the human experiential way itself, from the stream of desire. So we are saying yes to the clinging fire. And let's say, what does that mean? So this is the gate of recognition of feelings, the channel of recognition, a design of focused energy, the clinging fire. Freedom recognized as an illusion and limitation accepted as a fate. Now, I have to admit, I never really got this gate. But I need to dive to the deep within the deep if I want to externalize this. And I'm doing this project for myself, as you know. That's the way I study. So I had to dive. And it's a long time that I'm watching this gate and reading about it and listening about it and asking people. and I think I'm beginning to get it. So first of all, we are talking about the human experiential way. We have the 41st gate as the fuel for the new experience, the gate of fantasy, the adrenalized pressure to begin a new emotional experience, yes, collective emotion experience. And then we have this, the 30th gate, the clinging fire. And if we want this, we have this fuel, this 41st gate, the fuel to the new experience, but then we have to cling to the fire. And we are talking about the fire. This is the solar plexus, and we are talking about the stream of desire. I mean, this is the fire. Now, freedom recognized as an illusion. We can't get away from the desire. Being a human being, it means we have desire built in us, desire to experience. And Ra says something very beautiful about all the religions that try to educate people to avoid desire. We can't. We can never be free of desire, because this is the human experiential way, and we are talking about mechanics here. It's not an idea, desire. It's something that is built through in us. The 41st gate is the only start codon that we have in our DNA. This is the energy to start, and to start the human experience through desire. If we didn't have desire to explore new things or to discover, the channel of discovery, if we didn't have this this burning desire, we wouldn't discover new places, new things, new horizons. We wouldn't be growing as humanity. So the 30th gate is really the fire itself that the 41st gate want to catch, want to cling, yes? And we can't, and the talking about the fate, as I see it, and this is as I see it now, my understanding now is that this is our fate to be involved in all this. We can't run away from it. We can't. Our soul needs to go through this. This is what we meant as being a human being. Now, that's why there is such a beautiful thing that is connected to the 30th gate, and this is how can we protect our soul from this burning fire? I mean, we have no choice, we have no choice. We need to jump into this fire. We need to experience this is part of who we are, but we also need to protect our soul. And if we live correctly, then the 30th gate have clues for us of what is the correct way for each of us to protect our soul during this experience. Now, the 6 lines of this clinging fire gate are, when they are resonated to our profile, our two lines of each of our profiles, then we can see how the soul and the body protect themselves through this human experiential way, and we can see if we are acting correctly or not, because we can't force it, we can't do it, we can only watch it as a signpost and see if that happens. And I just checked it on myself. It was amazing. So the first line, the first people that have the first line in their personality, for example, the line is composure. They need to be calm and composed in order to investigate. Now, first line, go through a deep emotional experience, still it needs to investigate. So it needs to be calm and composed in order to investigate through this fiery experience. Now, of course, when we are not self, it doesn't happen. But the beauty is that each of us can check and watch how we are today. Can we see the progress? So for me, I just watched it. For me, I need to be pragmatic, and this is true. Today it happens, the fate will give me extremes, and over time, through experience, I need to find the balance, and I need to be pragmatic in it. And this is true. When I'm going through a very strong experience, I find myself now, it's interesting, it wasn't like that. I was, of course, completely a slave of my wave before human design. But now, after 5 years, I can see that I'm going through deep stuff, and my personality stays pragmatic, and my body, in order to avoid the burnout, I need to externalize things very quickly. And this is really interesting because I was doing this. I mean, this is unconscious, okay? So the body used to do it all the time, and I never understood why I'm externalizing things very, very fast when I'm going through a very deep emotional experience. I need to externalize, and I understand that this is the body's need to avoid burnout. So everyone can check his own profile and see, are these things are happening now, and is this the way that your design deals with the fire? Is this the way your soul and body protects themselves from the fire? So this is really a very, very interesting gate, and I want to thank 3 dear projectors that really helped me to anchor this in myself. And I'm not going to say the names. 2 of them, I think, have 5 in their profile, and I'm not going to do it because I didn't ask permission. But thank you, dear projectors. I always feel this communion with projectors, and it really warmed my heart, and they are part of my network this way or another. So thank you very much for your help. I really learned something, and it for me, it's a real joy to learn something, and to learn something that I see that is happening, not to learn it from the book. I knew it in my mind, but I didn't know it experientially. So now I experienced it. Okay, another thing that is happening is that Mercury is again sitting in the gate of oppression, and we have it's the 6th line. It's the line of fertility, and our dear giraffe just looks at everything and understand that it's all futile, and no need to be oppressed and confused. This is just has no way to go. It just goes nowhere. And then another thing happens. Mars, that was sitting in the gate of might, in the sacred, the 34th gate. Oh my God, it connected to my sun, and I was busy. I was very busy, and not only that I was busy, I also used this word, and I don't use it a lot, and people were asking me what's going on, and I said, I can't talk, I'm so busy. So I'm very happy that Mars has joined Saturn in the 9th gate, the gate of focus, energy for details. And yes, and I had energy for all these details that I wanted to share, and I wanted to learn and externalize. So thank you, Mars, for helping me. And this evening, Mercury will leave the gate of oppression and will join Jupiter in the gate of friction, conflict. It's about intimacy or not. So our giraffes are going to go through yes, no to the penetration stuff. And in the 19th, Venus is going to enter the gate of oppression. And our dear giraffe will continue looking at life and asking itself if if is there anything worth it here, or is it all still futile? So it is futile, but in the meantime, you know, while we are chewing, the mind is chewing on and on and on all this oppression stuff and doubt that we have from the nodes and all this. Then in the meantime, in order to have some juice, let's say yes to the clinging fire and jump into it. And we are talking about relationship and the culture of duality. And yes, we want to experience desire and experience new connections and learn from our human experiential way. So we need to remember, we need to remember that we can jump into things or say yes to things only according to our design. We have our strategy that protects us. We have our inner authority or decision-making process that navigates us, and we sleep alone. Even during this clinging fire and burning desire, please go to sleep by yourself after the action. We need to protect us, to protect our soul, but we need to protect our body, and the soul has nothing to do in a damaged body, in a tired or damaged body that is frustrated or bitter or angry or disappointed. So let's have fun according to who we are, and that's it. Dive into the abyss, the deep within the deep. Bye-bye.